Hey you.
Yo.
All right. Great discussion. Good stuff.
I mean, that was just a really good movie, and
Yes.
that was a really good movie. And what's funny is when I picked it, um, I didn't even realize what I was getting myself into.
Yes, that is true. Like I will give you kudos because I know that we kind of you kind of threw that in towards the last second there, right? You're
Yeah,
like, oh, Sleepy Hollow. Or like, oh, okay, yeah, write it down quick. We're already going through all these different movies. He's like, what's a good Thanksgiving movie? And I'm like, but it was a well-written movie, man. I really enjoyed it. And
yeah,
I forgot so many of the new movies now are kind of superficial, right? They're kind of just you one and done. You don't really
It's the
invest too
same
much into it.
story over and over and over and over. It's just
Yes,
different
yes.
characters.
The unfortunate downfall to the whole like time we're in. I mean, the MCU is like I mean, I like their movies, but at the same time they're kind of that formula, right? They put out something that works and then they kind of just they run with it and they've kind of gone away from that a little bit more. But movies have become more so like, you just kind of watch it and that's it. I need the next movie now. And it's back then I wanted to mention that when I looked at the movies from 1999, I'm gonna throw some names out here of just that year before the ball dropped and we were like, okay, world's gonna end, man, so let's get the best movies in. We had Fight Club, The
oh
Matrix,
wow,
Yeah,
American Beauty, Boondock Saints, Office Space, The Ninth Gate, which that was okay.
I like that
um
one.
Ghost Dog with Forrest Whitaker.
Oh wow, I forgot about
Yeah.
Ghost Dog
yes,
and Meatloaf. Yeah.
Yep. Payback with Mel Gibson.
Oh
yeah.
no.
I'm a little I wasn't a huge fan, but it was good. The Thomas Crown Affair, the remake with Pierce
Hugh.
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, Pierce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Rene Russo. What
Okay.
else?
Okay, got it.
Analyze This.
Oh
Never,
yeah,
I
Um
never saw that.
with
being
Robert De Niro.
Oh
You
No,
haven't
yeah.
I
seen
never. I
Analyze
haven't
This?
seen it. I don't know why I didn't see it. I just haven't seen it, and I'm like totally
Oh,
forgot about it. So now I'm gonna look it up.
Uh,
we got to put that on the list.
Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Mummy. The Mummy. the
Wait, The
gr-
Mummy was like, wasn't that like Brendan Fraser's like
yes.
last best
Yeah.
movie ever?
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, agreed. The Green Mile.
Oh, great
I
one.
mean, so many. I mean, Galaxy. Well, it was a comedy, but Galaxy Quest. I
I
liked it.
love
It was
Galaxy
Oh,
funny.
Quest.
I love Galaxy
Yeah,
Quest.
I
Galaxy
I
Quest.
love
love
Galaxy
Galaxy.
Quest.
I was like, and then I'm watching it. I'm like, oh my gosh, all these great movies came out in '99, and it's like,
Dude, Robin Williams was huge in that era.
Bicentennial
Like I
Man.
oh yeah, yeah, Bicentennial Man. I'm
like,
looking at Robin Williams right now.
yeah,
Jacob the Liar.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Jack.
wow,
Yeah. But
wow, Jack, yeah.
Bicentennial Man, um, I love that one. I
That was a
really
cute.
did.
That was a cute ending. I like that ending in Bicentennial Man. I still remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was cute.
It makes me cry every time. So
Yeah.
no lie. Like I'm like I'm admitting that in public. Like it will make me cry.
But yeah, great movie selection, Rob. Great movie selection. Like Sleepy Hollow, I mean, you forget that run, the late 90s to the early 2000s. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you could argue the 80s had their stint, right? And then there was kind of like a little break, early 90s, and then you got the late 90s, which like wow, just amazing movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
we
want
even
to.
had our formula in the '80s, right? What was it? The girl with the breast showing, running around, everybody having sex, and if you have sex, you're gonna die, or if this, and then and it was like, so it was crazy. MILFs, and then the crazy drugged out kids. It was like, I can't.
That's funny that you say that because I think that there's a formula to movies,
There.
right? And
Mhm.
it's very rare. It is very rare that the director will break from this formula. Okay, very rare that the director breaks from this formula. But um, within the first 12 to 20 minutes, you are presented with your good guy, your story, and then your bad guy. Prove me wrong.
I will find this movie. I know I can prove you wrong. I'm like, no, no,
Yeah, very
not every.
rare.
And yeah,
It
it's
is
very
very
rare. And if I
extremely
can
rare.
find it, I'm gonna find it. I am gonna find this movie
Oh, they're out there. They're out there because Kill Bill doesn't reveal they don't reveal who Bill is for
until the
quite a
end.
while,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
For
for a
quite
while.
a while. But in the very opening scene, you know that there's your good guy and then your bad guy. You know, Uma, am I right saying it right? Uma Thurman?
Uma
Yep,
Thurman, yeah.
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, immediately, just one thing, it's Bill, it's your baby, and then she gets shot in the head. So you're like, okay, it's Quentin Tarantino. Is this the end? And now we're about to watch everything that led up to this moment. You know what I mean? It's a Quentin Tarantino film, so you're watching things backwards, kind of thing like Reservoir Dogs. You have to watch everything backwards. So the movie takes place and it kicks off, but you don't get to see who shot her forever.
Forever.
Yeah. You immediately go to that Sandlot forever.
Ever.
you know,
Oh my
but if you think about it, even our movie that we just reviewed, Sleepy Hollow, um, your characters are laid out. You have your plot, the opening scene, your opening murder scene, which was repeated in Scream.
God.
You have your opening murder scene. You
Yeah.
think that this is going to be your lead character, and she gets killed, and then you don't know who the killer is. So immediately, the movie starts. But then your good guy, your protagonist, is revealed, and after your good guy is revealed to you, or your survivalist in whatever situation you want to put them in, after that moment, you have your bad guy within 12 and 20 minutes. So the formula has just been, what's the phrase? Rinse, wash, repeat,
Yeah.
right? Rinse,
Yeah.
wash,
Overdone.
repeat.
You
So I mean,
overcooked your meal. Yes.
yeah, so that whole, topless, boobs exposed in the 80s films, everyone's running around topless,
You knew who
they're
was gonna
doing
die that way.
drugs.
Yeah.
You knew who, right? You knew who was gonna die. If the girl that did covered up and she didn't want to be, running around and talking out. Oh, we're at a girl's sleepover. It's okay. You should just be okay with taking off your bra. And then she's the one girl that's just like, oh no, no,
I'm a
whatever.
prude. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's gonna survive this kind of thing. There was a formula to making movies in the 80s, and but they paved the way for creativity, and they opened, from the 70s. I still have to give credit to the 70s, from the
Oh, you
70s to the
kidding me?
80s. They
70s.
yeah, they opened up and paved the way for the 90s, for those really good movies that hit in the 90s. We kind of have to tip your hat kind of thing to, people like, Wes Craven, you know,
Hmm.
Cameron,
Corner
James
Cronenberg.
Cameron, your Spielberg's.
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to, I mean, in all of it, right? No matter which decade you look at, I mean, the storytelling is the most important part, which is what we've lost a little bit of it. We touched on this a couple weeks back, but good storytelling will always and progression will always win over special effects, which will win over explosions. I mean,
Yeah.
those things are important, but you gotta have a good story. I mean,
But it seems like it doesn't matter today.
yeah, now that's what it. I'd be interested to hear what the younger crowd has to say, but that's what seems to be interesting. That a lot of the movies now, it's almost like, you know, I don't know. It's almost like, all right, just give me what I want, and then after that, that's it. Like the movie doesn't mean anything more than that. And like I think about the movies we grew up with, for us, like I mean, Star Wars, the original three, and the Back to the Future trilogies, and just you felt these characters, I don't want to say related to, but they took you into this fantasy, right? This fantasy land, so to
Yes.
speak. But you
Almost
related,
tangible.
yeah, you related to them in the sense that you would have loved to be there. Like I would love to have, I mean, going Back to the Future, when you watch it now compared to, like, well, we're laughing about the 2015 scenario, right? It's like 2015 didn't look anything like that, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But as a kid, when you're watching it, or as a young adult, you're like, wow, that's what it would probably be like. You're trying to like stretch that creativity, but you fell for the protagonist, right?
Yeah.
Star Wars, you fell for this farm boy who is stuck in this rinky-dink town, right? In Tatooine, and he's like, "Oh, I'm never gonna get out. My friends are all gone. What am I gonna do here?" Right? So you can relate to it. He wants to go and explore, and he gets pulled into this adventure that, just unravels the story about his family, and those are the things that good storytelling, that progression, helps a
Yeah.
viewer and a fan enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now it's just so hard to enjoy a movie because there's always some underlying message which is unnecessary. It's like, don't give me this
Yeah.
underlying message, just take me away, give me a good story. That's what was refreshing about the Sleepy Hollow. It was like, it was just a good story.
It was just by
Yeah.
happenstance that you can
Yeah.
pick up and relate these things to it, not
Yes.
necessarily saying, this is what I'm trying to give you. And it's like, I don't want to know. I want to figure it out and see it for
Yes.
myself.
Yeah.
So,
And
Yeah.
extrapolate things, figure
right.
things out, like, this is what I saw from it. We can all have different views on it because we pulled stuff from it. We're like, oh, well, this is what, like the Headless Horseman coming out of that one, the scene you were talking about, guy, with him coming out and he pauses with the kid scene,
Yeah.
right? Like I never would have thought of that. And that was interesting that you took that from there. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I could see how you could do that. You don't get that in a lot of movies today. Now they're like, this is what you're gonna feel. This is what you're gonna experience. This is what it is. You deal
This
with
is,
it.
yeah. Watch it,
It's
and
like
this is what I want
Evil
you to
Dead.
take away from it.
Yeah.
Everything was in there in the book. Don't do this. Do this. Do that. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But so younger guys, what do you think? Or do you have some rebuttal about this, or do you agree or disagree?
Okay, hello.
Hello.
I agree.
I'm sorry, I agree with the chips. Okay, go ahead.
I agree because yeah, like you said, a lot of movies nowadays want to tell you how to feel, and you can't take your own personal perspective from it. So I agree. I like that. I'm glad you guys said that.
You're welcome. Keila?
I agree as well. I would definitely say that, like going back to what you guys just said, that movies nowadays is definitely different. It's not. It kind of takes the like imagination away, kind of, in a sense. Now it's like when movies end, it's like, oh, okay, we know what happens. We know this is the storyline. Like it's no like cliffhanger, it's no like plot twist, like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely agree.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys thinking? Is it just me, or nowadays? It's just the one I watch? Because the trailers for me spoils the entire movie. Like certain, I don't want to watch anymore because the trailer told me basically exactly what happened.
The whole movie, right? Okay, guys. Junior, Kia, do you remember? Because I kept telling this to other people. I'm like, do you remember when previews were so short? You were like, oh, what's gonna happen? What is this movie about? And now they're like 5 minutes long.
Okay, best trailer. Well, I won't say best trailer, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and you'll remember this when I say it. Independence Day.
Yeah,
You remember Independence Day's trailer? And I mean, they gave you nothing.
right. It
But
was like,
man, they hyped it up. Like you were like, what's going on? What is this? Like just how they brought it together, that trailer was like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but something's gonna happen. And I think up until the week before the theater release, you didn't know it was about aliens.
at all.
I don't
Right.
even, yeah, I think they kind of left it so, but I don't know, man. I still remember going to the movies to see that with my uncles, and I was like, what is this about? Like, but that, and it's my I watch it every 4th of July without fail. That is sometimes twice. That is our movie. It's a tradition, and yeah, the trailers now, Jay, yeah, you're right, man. Like they give away, you can watch a 2-minute trailer and that's it. That's the movie. You you know?
You got it all figured out before you
Yeah.
even go see the
We're
movie.
like,
It's
oh,
like,
okay.
I'll wait till it comes on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our trailers were literally between like what was it, like a minute 10? They had a minute 10 to sell this movie to you. You know, and now trailers are 2 minutes 45 seconds to 3.5 minutes. Like they give away so much. Um, I want to say that the formula for making movies is cookie cutter now. You know,
Well, I think Jordan Peele's trying to help bring that back because he did that with Nope. It was all super hyped
nope,
up.
Nope.
nope,
Nope.
Mm-mm.
nope,
Do I want to watch this movie? Nope.
nope,
Mm-mm.
nope.
I mean, but when you saw the poster, it was like, oh, it's about UFOs. I mean, I was like, that was my first take. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I already have my own my own
Yeah.
thoughts about what's going on up there. So I was like,
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, that was probably the only giveaway. But yeah, movies introductions are crazy. I don't like what was the intro? What was the trailer for this one? For Sleepy Hollow. How long was it?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I want to know the first movie that broke that mold.
Sleepy Hollow trailer was 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
But it didn't really give you a whole bunch of information either. So, okay, this is what I figure. I figured they didn't focus on some of the key points where most everybody's like, oh, this is going to be in it and this is going to be in it. And it's like you showed us every single action part already.
Yeah.
And you gave us the fillers after. So it's like, give the fillers to provoke curiosity,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to find now because like I'm looking for the trailer that came out, back then for Independence Day, for instance, and even Sleepy Hollow. And it's tough because most of the trailers that have been uploaded to the net now, right, are all the current or revised versions. So, Independence Day pulls choice scenes out of the movie and puts it into the trailer. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, modern day trailers, that's what it's going to look like. But back then, I remember ID was like, they would like show this slow moving black screen and you hear the music and then you see this I and this D pulling together and you're like, what's going on here?
Right.
And it was like, I remember it being like, I don't know, maybe like 30 seconds of this. And you're like, and you just hear music and you're like, okay. And then as the letters are coming together, they turn and then it's like ID.
aliens.
And you're like, okay, what does ID mean? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But they left it there and then they just went right to a date of it, the release.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And I know that's a tough sell because that leaves it too mysterious, right? But
It piqued your interest.
yeah,
Right.
And
yeah,
that's pretty much what they did back in our day is they would pique your interest with things. You wanted to know what was going on. Like Gaia was just saying, you kind of got a introduction to the plot and the mystery, what's at foot. Wait a minute, leave evil lurking in the dark. It's you were intrigued and you wanted to be pulled into it. You wanted to be pulled into it, and it's and that's what it was. That's what the trailer was. Whether it was 30 seconds, whether it was a minute and 10, you wanted to get pulled in. And nowadays, unfortunate for you guys, your movies are cookie cutter, and the trailers are all the action scenes. And unfortunately, the bad part about it is that if your movie was all about your action scenes, a lot of the times even those 5-minute trailers, they give away those action scenes, and then that was the point of the movie. Like you go to watch the movie and it's like, well, wait a minute, where's the action scene I saw? It's in the deleted scenes, and you can only see it if you go buy the DVD.
Well, the other thing is, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, I was gonna say that oh geez, I just lost my thought here. No, when they do the trailers now, it's almost like they want to make sure the audience has enough to bring them in. So they got to show some of the, but they almost like give away some of the big thrills, right? Marvel actually does the trailers pretty decent where they make trailers specifically for trailers. So when you go to the movie, you don't actually see that scene in the movie, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it's really tough, I would imagine now, because what made me think of it, now I knew my point, was that when the Matrix Resurrection was coming out, right? The hype behind it, they didn't really show a lot of footage. They basically kind of had the campaign strategy of, we're going to return to the Matrix, and they kind of, they had the interactive website thing like they did back in the day, and they brought that back, red pill, blue pill, and you kind of had it forced the audience to ask questions and stuff like that. But then they released the trailer, and then they released the what's the Entertainment Weekly pictures, and then and it's like, okay, now you just basically gave away everything. We know what everybody looks like. That Morpheus is not played by Lawrence Fishburne. So wait a minute, what's going on here?
Right.
And all these questions come up, and it's like, and yeah. So
it just gave it away. You see, even though it was just a Matrix, you still saw the balding older Keanu Reeves, the older Jada Pinkett. So it was like, okay, so we knew this was years later.
Niobe, yep.
Yeah, Niobe. So you knew this was taking place in the future. The fact that the machines were, there was a girl riding the machine in the trailer. It was so evident that there was a civil war between the AIs, and that the humans had to pick a side, kind of thing. So yeah, movies movies have kind of lost, I don't want to say they've lost their way, but they've definitely fallen into a formula way of doing things. And production, the production companies that are behind a lot of the movies nowadays are just going along with it. If it doesn't fit this format, we don't want to take part in it.
I feel like they're robbing the movie industry. Like, remember when there used to be like lines just to get a ticket? I kind of missed that. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but it was like, oh my goodness, I'm like, they're just as excited to see this as me, But I'm like, you go to the movie theater now, you're like, is anybody in this joint? And then you go into there and you're like, there's like 5 people here. Come on.
Well, I mean, yeah. The cost definitely has affected that, though. I mean, you got to take, for a family of 4, I'm dropping like $100. Take my wife and kids to the movies. I'm dropping 100, and I'm like, okay, we're going to stream this. It'll be out in 2 months.
But in the Burger King.
Yeah. I
But yeah.
when it comes to a movie release, like I still have not gone to see Black Adam. I still haven't gone to see um Wakanda Forever. You know, I
And
haven't seen any. Was you already saw it?
I saw it twice.
All right, keep your mouth
Ah,
Oh,
shut.
there you
okay.
go.
Keep your-
I'm waiting for it to come on Disney. So
yeah, we're waiting for it to stream. Okay, we don't have money like you youngsters.
right,
You go to
we
the
got
movies.
bills to pay.
Yeah, you go to the movies and you're just buying yourself Sour Patch Kids. We go to we go to the movies and we're spending $40 because somebody's always tagging with us. So we can't go by ourselves. That's just
Yeah.
different.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
I need somebody to keep me awake in a movie.
Well,
Like
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
I'm
Yeah.
getting too old.
Movies.
I can't
Wait.
stay awake for long enough to watch a movie.
Have you fallen asleep in a theater?
I've done it. I listen. I've
Wow.
fallen asleep in the theater watching Tron, the
The remake.
Legacy?
not the remake. It's the Legacy. It's a continuation.
Tron Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, Tron Legacy. I fell
Really?
asleep in that, and guess how much I paid?
You probably paid
Don't say
15
like
bucks a
30
ticket.
bucks.
I almost close to $60 because I
Hmm.
took I took my
Wow.
niece. I took my niece with me. Mike was with me, Lil Frank, Danny. I can't remember. There were a bunch of us, and we went to go see.
Wow.
I was visiting from out of town. And I can't remember who suggested it, but we were all like, oh, look, we're going to go see Tron Legacy. And the next thing I know, I'm forking out for a couple of people to get in. They're like, oh, I'm short. I spent almost $60 for us to get in. So we go, and by the end of the movie, I was asleep. I was like, dude,
Wow.
I'm old, and this is past my bedtime. This is past my bedtime. Like it was like I think it was like 10:30. Like I was done. Like, are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
No, you go like when I go to the movies now, it's very intentional, and I mean, I'm very selective now on what I go to the movie theaters for, and what's tough is that getting back to the trailer thing, you see so much of the trailer, you have people that review it and talk so much in detail without even giving spoilers away. You can already see the story unravel, and it's like, now do I want to drop that much money to see it on the big screen? Is it really worth
Yeah.
it? When
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just
Eventually show up on your TV or DVD
yeah.
somewhere.
And
Yep.
I mean, obviously technology has made it much easier, and we obviously got 4K TVs now, and they got crazy crazy quality, so it's like, and comfort of your own home, and the whole streaming aspect has definitely made it easier to not watch it in the theaters. But yeah, movies got to really it's got to really sell me on a good story, good action, good, I don't know. It's just got it. Like, I mean, the last movie I saw was Black Adam in the theaters, but before that, oh gosh, it might have been Top Gun, Maverick, and
I couldn't even tell you what the last movie was.
yeah. And I will tell you that Black Adam was awesome, definitely movie theater worthy, and Top Gun, hands down, I'd go see that again. Like it was a simple story. One could argue that it was basically Star Wars Episode 4, you know, casted with Tom Cruise as your protagonist, but it was just a fun movie, and I think of like even like Minions, Rise of Gru. I think I saw that too in the theaters.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on
You
my
know.
list.
Yeah, but like those are fun movies, fun. You go, you enjoy it for what it is, and that's it, but I don't know.
Real quick, I just want to add. I was watching the Minion movie where the three of them leave the cave. They go off to find a boss, and
The original, yep.
yeah, they're in England, and um, I think is it George? Is George the little one who becomes king?
Kevin.
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 Yeah. Okay, so Kevin becomes king, right? And then either way, at the end of this movie, Groot Groot rides in as a little kid. And
Yeah.
the second I saw that, I knew that there was about to be another movie where he's a child and he grows up with the minions. And since that day, I was looking forward to this Rise of Groot movie. Oh my God, I'm a Minion fan. Like you go
Oh
on
yeah.
my Facebook page and you look, I've got minions to express my day. People get up and they're like, "Oh, sad face. It's I don't want to go to work." I've got minions of me, like I'm going to work. And I use minions to represent me. Like I worked at Sega. I had a minion on my desk, um, and
Nice.
and I think it was Kevin because he had a teddy bear and a guitar, and you bop him on the head and he start playing the guitar, and I like,
Nice.
yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
question for you guys. All right, so it's like movie quality thing. I don't know. It's a thing. So you think about Tarantino when he did Grindhouse, right? And it had that gritty, grainy '70s feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel like when I watch movies now, they're so clear and they're so. It feels like you're right in front of me, and for whatever reason, it takes me out of the movie. I like the films where I feel like it's still out of reach, but I don't know if I'm really making myself clear, but it doesn't feel like a film for some
Okay.
movies. Some movies, like when you can see the camera pan too fast, and it's just like, what's going on? And everything's just so super crisp and super clear. But I feel like I want to watch a movie, I gotta have that little grainy, just to make me feel like, oh, this is still a movie, but I can still relate to it. I can get attached to it. I don't know. It's just something like I will choose movies over that. I'm like, oh,
Oh, okay.
I can't, and I'll move on to something that's a little less in my face. You know what I mean?
So what'd you think of Sin City?
Sin City, I liked Sin City because it was a comic. It was
Okay.
comic. It was
Yeah.
comic form, so I expected those sharp edges and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for certain genres, yeah, I expect that. But for like a regular movie, not so much. Like I don't want to see every pore on your skin. Like I don't need to see that.
I think that's where like a director,
I know.
I think a director and a producer in that aspect from a movie, depending on the storytelling, I think that the definitely the quality of the footage plays a big role. So I guess it really just depends on the type of movie it is, right? Grindhouse, and you think of a lot of Quentin Tarantino's movies, right? He tries to set he tries to set the tone with the actual film footage. So if it takes place in the 70s or in the 80s, like he tries to theme it that way where you get that feel, right? There's a certain
Right.
feel behind 70s movies, a certain feel behind 80s and 90s, and I think he tries to capture that when he produces or directs these movies, right? Certain movies, like a lot of sci-fi movies, you want that detail, you want that sharpness, because that sharpness kind of correlates to how you would imagine more of a futuristic scientific vibe would be, right? But yeah, if you're watching a romantic comedy and everything is in high def, I mean, I laugh because my wife and daughter love the Hallmark movies, and I'm like, nobody's house is this clean. Like, no town is this clean. My gosh, they, even when they're in their pajamas, they look flawless. Like, it doesn't,
Not a
that's
hair
not
out of
real.
place.
Yes,
Nothing.
it's like it's not real, and it's fake, right? It's like, okay, this is fake. Nobody talks like this. Nobody, it's. I think of like I haven't watched the entire series, but I know that my wife and daughter have joked about it, and I've seen a couple episodes of the Gilmore Girls, I think they're called, or
Oh, good Lord. I've never
yeah,
watched that.
yeah. But the way they talk, like, I guess the appeal is the kind of chantic, the things that they get involved in, right? And but nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that. Nobody, and yeah, the grit of certain movies like Star Wars, right? the 8 when that came out, I watched the old version of it before the enhanced. What was it? I forgot what year they came out with the enhanced version, but I still have the original that I watch, and that's really cool. And then you go to the prequels, which are oh, this is all CGI. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. CGI, everything comes into play. But I mean, like Transformers and stuff like that, like I love
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
You
you
know
got
what
to
I
do.
mean?
Yeah.
But it's just when it's let's say Hellraiser, the reformed one, um, was like that. It's not. It's a little less than what I can't stand. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't even know which camera it is that they use. I never got to work a camera, so it's just imagine if it was like super, 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 like you could see every single detail on the skin. You know, I'm like, sometimes I don't want to see that. Sometimes it takes away. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then there are, you know, you want to do it for the costuming and everything. But I don't know. It seems to be so more abundant these days on top of the CGI. And it's
Yeah.
like,
I
don't
think that plays into um the quality and that formula. You know, that formula, that cookie cutter formula that producers and that they're using right now to produce movies is, oh, people have 4K TVs and they have 8K TVs and high definition televisions and stuff like that. So once we're done making the movie, putting a movie on the big screen, where are we going with this? Is this going to the home? And if this does go to the home and we're going to home entertainment, let's make the movie for home entertainment purposes.
right.
We get past the theatrics. Now we're into the home entertainment version of this. And when they put this on their 4K, are they going to pick this movie apart and say, "Oh, look at that, his face is CGI"?
No, because it comes
Are
down
they
to
gonna?
editing, and editing is going to listen to what the director says, and the producer is going to put in their ideas, you know. But I'm like, I know it's all a choice. I'm just saying my personal preference is just like when I see it, it just takes me so far. I'm unattached to the movie. I can't attach to it at all.
Well, here's the thing: when you look at a let's take the Dawn of Justice, and I know we're running out of time. The Dawn of Justice, when they did the slowdown for the Flash, when they do that scene, they have to take in all of the details of the glass breaking, everything moving. So there's lots of time and energy spent into those details because on a 4K and an 8K TV,
You're gonna see that.
you wind up looking like the Matrix when Neo was spinning around and kicking all of those Agent Smiths.
No,
Like
I'm
it
not
just
talking
looks
about
cartoony.
those little key points. I'm talking about like when it's the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
What
because
you know
that
what about The Thing? 1982 versus the 2011 movie. When you look at how those movies, the whole movie was I mean, obviously you're dealing with two different decades of technology,
yeah
but the first thing was, I mean, granted it was the original, but you could between the two, and because it was a prequel, right? I think the thing that came out in 2011 was the prequel,
right
right?
yes
So, if you put the two together, the thing, the way it looked was more raw, and it definitely sold the movie better. The story was by far better in that, I think.
right
But
right
with the high resolution of 2011, all the details, it was like, it didn't leave anything to the imagination. It was like it almost did it a disservice. They almost should have filmed it more in that kind of 80s, you know,
yes they yeah
So,
definitely. Uh, so we're down to
all
our
right,
last minute. We're going to lose it in a second here. So we don't need to record any further, but we definitely need to go over the
the
next step
Facebook.
moving
Okay.
forward. So if everyone goes to Facebook, when you get to Facebook, you go to the group, look in there, and you'll see where it says rooms. And then when you see rooms, just join. And I'm about to go in there now, so it'll
Or yes,
be
sir.
an active
All right.
up and running.
We'll see you there.
All right.
Bye.